Hey everybody, I know you've seen me put RGB LED lights on the inside of this Cybertruck, both on the roof and on the dashboard. I gotta tell you, I am really impressed. I was so impressed that our friends from Hansshow has been so nice to let us use an RGB light for the exterior of the Cybertruck. And I gotta tell you, it actually works wonderfully. Because if you've seen my other LED lights, you know we use the Magic Lantern app, and we utilize that app to change the look of the lights, both in terms of the color and the style and the way that it dances, and even works with the music. It's a great set. It takes about an hour and a half to put into the truck. It hooks up to the Frunk power. It looks really great, and you can absolutely do this at home. Don't forget to look in the description below to see how you can get a 20% discount off on these particular lights, other Tesla accessories. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you back in just a moment. Hey, so when you get your kit, there's going to be a few things in it. Specifically, you're going to have 4 of these light strips in it. And you take special note of it because 3 sides of this is going to be black and 1 side is going to be white. The part that is on the outside is going to be white, and so you want to make sure this is the part that shines to the outside of the truck. Otherwise, you're going to have some pretty dim lighting if you try to hook it up any other way. The other thing you want to take note of is that you have the red double-sided tape here, which is where we're going to tape the lighting down to. And the last thing you really want to take note of is this green tab that is on each lighting strip. They're each labeled. This one happens to say first in, and that's just the first in. It's the label of the strip. This is the first one. This is going to go on the front. They're labeled first, second, third, and fourth. Now, the first one is going to go on the front bumper. Now, what I did, I actually laid out all of my strips first along the outside of the truck to make sure everything fit properly, and I made sure of how the wires are going. You're going to want to pay close attention to how they're going because each strip, except for one, has 2 ends to it. You have a part that has a yellow tip and no yellow tip. And this is the male and female portions that are going to daisy chain from wire to wire. All except for strip number 4. Number 4 only has the black tip. It does not have a yellow tip, meaning this is going to be the end of the line for this particular LED strip. So this is going to be the last one that goes on a truck, and in my case, it's going to be the one that is on the right side of the vehicle, on the passenger side of the vehicle. That's where this one is going. So make sure you kind of separate them out. As I said, I made sure I laid them out around the truck before I'm starting, just to make sure everything's going to fit properly and everything's going to go in. We're going to get these strips attached to the truck first, and then we're going to go into the frunk and attach the power. After we get the light strips attached, we're going to go into the frunk and we're going to attach this power converter to the frunk power in the Cybertruck. You're just going to attach this black and red wire here to the frunk power, and this is going to attach into the LED light strip. And that's all there is to it. It's actually a really easy install that we have to do here. It's just a little bit of work getting everything around. As I said, I've laid everything out ahead of time, so that's going to make this really easy. The second thing that I did to make this really easy, make sure that you clean the edges of your Cybertruck where the strips are going to attach. I've already washed parts of the truck down already so that this double-sided tape will stick to it. So we've already prepared the surface. So now all we have to do is just lay out the strip and take the red strips off and start attaching it. And that's all there is to it. And I'll show you where to run the wires and the wheel wells as well. All right, so I got the LED light strip on the front installed. I am going to run this wire now. The wire is actually going to go behind behind the wheel well fairing. And we're just gonna put it back there so that it won't interfere with the wheel or anything else. So we're just gonna put that back there like that. And now we're just gonna run this all the way up. Just gonna tuck it back in here. And it might be easier to take the whole thing off. It tucks in just like that. I'm gonna leave this out right here just for a little while, and because we gotta get the other one attached, and when we get the other one attached, I'll be able to run it up and then connect it. Okay, so I've got a lot of the LED strip glued down around the truck. But I just want to show you how I'm doing the wiring. The instructions actually has you just tucking the wires into the wheel well fairings, but I'm not doing that. What I'm actually doing, I'm actually pulling these fairings off. They just have clips on them. They pull straight out. You got to make sure you pull straight out on them. And I'm just loosening them up a little bit, just enough so I can then get the wire into the fairing, and I'm running the wire into the fairing like this. And I'm going to let it stick out just a little bit because I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then I'm going to put the whole fairing back. And that seems to be the easiest way to do this. So now that I got that part out, I can then push this part back in. And so I just left the wire hanging out here, and I'm going to do the same thing for the last one. I'm going to come back around the other way and get that put in. That's all there is to it. Okay, so now we got our LED strips attached to the truck. Now we've got to remove the frunk so we can connect the power to the LED light. The first thing you want to do is that you have your windshield wiper fluid cover here, and we want to take that off first. So we're just going to take this off. It just peels right on off. It'll come up like that, and then this thing comes off just like that. And we're just going to put that aside. The next thing you're going to want to do is the fascia piece here. There's a big fascia piece. It's going to come straight up, and we're going to remove it. We're going to use our trim tool that comes in the kit to help us out here. It's just attached by clips, and you're just going to pull straight up. So you want to take this screw out first, and I'm using a 10mm socket just to get it out. There we go. Now it's out. The other one is on the other side, and we're going to go ahead and take that one out. Take that one out. The next thing you need to do, in order to get the frunk out, you want to take your trim tool and you want to pry the panels. You have two of these panels, and they each have 2 screws underneath. Once again, use a 10mm wrench. There we go. Other side. Pry our panel up. 2 more screws, so you should have a total of 6 screws by the time you're done. All right, after you get the screws out, you have 2 bolts, one on either side of the truck. They're located right here on the bottom part of the frunk. And all you're going to do is twist those, you're going to wiggle that around, and you're going to twist it counterclockwise like that, and it's just going to come out just like that. So you have 2 of them, one on the left and one on the right. Boom, done. Now lastly, you're going to slightly pull the frunk out, and what you're going to be looking for, you have this little white button over here. There's a wire attached to the back of that button. We've got to remove that wire first before we can completely pull the frunk out. So we're going to pull the frunk out just a little bit, just enough to access that wire. So now that we got the frunk wire and all the screws out, we can now take the frunk out just like this. It's just going to come right on out. I'm going to pull up, and we're just going to set it aside. So now that our frunk is out, we want to be able to attach our power converter to the frunk power. Now, if you've never taken your frunk out before, your frunk power is located right here. You see it? You have your super manifold V2 right there. You're going to have 2 wires here. I've already taken mine off, so I've already stripped them. There's a red wire and there's a blue and brown wire. And what you want to do, you want to attach the red wire to the red and the black wire to the blue and brown. And we have a couple of attachments to do that with. Here we got the power converter, and I've already got the red wire done. And all you're going to do, you're going to strip the wires just a little bit, and this piece, you're going to put them both in here at the same time effectively. Make sure that one's good and tight, and you're going to put them one right next to the other, just like that. Pair them together, and it's just going to twist, just like that. And just basically twist it until it stops. And just like that, we should have a connection. Here's our wire. If you remember this wire, this is from our first RGB strip install. Remember, this is a first in car LED. We can go ahead and attach it, and it plugs in just like that. And from here, we can just go ahead and test our system. Okay, so I got the connection made, and I had to do it a couple of times just to make sure I had a good connection. I actually had to twist the wires together physically first and then put the blue caps on and twist it, and that worked. I'm gonna tape that up. Now that we know the lighting's working, I'm gonna tape it up and make it all nice and neat. We're gonna zip tie the lines, make it all neat in there, and we'll see how it looks. Hey, so that's how we actually put the lights into the truck. And I gotta tell you, these things look really good. I've had a chance to roll around town with them for a little bit. Don't forget, you can't roll around with the RGB lights around town on the streets too tough. You probably will get pulled over. If you use them, be sure to stick to white or yellow. Those are pretty safe. Depends on your state law, so be sure to look those up. But as far as these lights are concerned, they are stuck to this bumper and all the way around the truck. They look excellent. Don't forget to look in the description below to see how you can get 20% discount on these particular lights, other Tesla accessories, and I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.